welcome back everybody to another episode of the Viewers Club. My name is Tessa.
My name is Lukas.
I am Osama.
Hello, I'm Megan.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Viewers Club. Today we are going to be talking about Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Whoop, whoop.
Celebration. For those of you who have not seen it already, get out from under the rock and watch it. There's definitely going to be spoilers in this episode. So, before we begin, I found a little summary about the movie, and I'm just going to read it. Okay. Nazi Germany is close to finding the mystical Ark of the Covenant, and only one man can stop them. Armed with his trusty whip and fetching perma-subtle Indiana Jones, archaeology professor and heartthrob extraordinaire, ventures forth from the halls of academia to find the Ark before the Nazis get their greasy little paws on it. I know.
Those damn Nazis.
Damn Nazis.
Naughty Nazis.
They're still here.
I know. Still being antagonists in movies.
Right. Okay, well,
Yep.
I want to hear what your guys' first impression was of the movie, and how old were you when you saw it? Megan, do you want to go first?
Jeez, how old was I? Honestly, I can't think of a time where I don't remember watching Indiana Jones.
They're classics.
Same.
I literally think that I saw it before I can remember. Like, it's been a part of my childhood for that long.
Yeah.
It's just one of my favorite movies ever. And I love Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones.
Yes.
Indiana Jones is one of my favorite characters of all time.
Yeah. He really made that role
So.
super iconic. Lukas, Osama?
I agree. I think I must have seen it in the womb. And it's just been with me ever
Honestly?
since. Yeah. Raiders of the Lost Ark was definitely the first one that I watched, though. I remember being horrified by the ending. That was awful.
It's intense.
Like, did anybody else not look at the screen when the Ark was open?
I wasn't
like,
allowed
they closed
to
their
watch
eyes
it.
because they didn't want to get
No,
out.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, cover your eyes.
And I couldn't watch it. I was like, I don't want to die.
Oh.
Is it weird that Indiana Jones didn't give me nightmares, but Jurassic Park did?
No, it's not. Jurassic Park is
Bambi
terrifying.
gave me nightmares.
Yeah.
That's for another discussion, but
It was nuts.
no, I never got nightmares.
Was
Not from Indiana
Yeah.
Jones, anyway.
I totally did. From like all of them.
Oh my god.
All
Oh, you
of them.
poor thing. Osama, how about you?
Okay, so I played the Lego games way before I saw any of the movies.
Those Lego games.
Nice.
I love
Oh
that.
my God.
I love that was your introduction.
They were good games.
Because we did not
They were.
we did not have a Netflix subscription until I was like, I think in 6th grade maybe? Somewhere between 6th and 7th grade. But I could only watch... I actually saw the Indiana Jones prequel series before I saw the movies.
I'm not sure if I've even seen
Was
that.
there a prequel series?
Yeah, The Adventures of Young Indiana
What?
Jones.
Oh, yeah, there was that. I never watched them. Well, I watched one, but then I never watched
It wasn't that bad. I actually liked it.
One was enough.
One was enough.
But
One was enough for me.
Oh.
I
mean-
bring back Harrison Ford.
the first 5 episodes were just meh. But after he gets kidnapped by Pancho Villa, it gets good.
Good to know.
When the kidnapping starts, Liam Neeson
Anyways.
shows up and it gets better.
Anyways, I didn't watch any of the Indiana Jones movies until my freshman year of college.
Well-
Except for
Wow.
Kingdom of Crystal Skull. I saw Kingdom of Crystal Skull back when I was
Fuck that movie!
back when I was a freshman in high school. I saw it.
Nice. Well, you know, the Lego games are
Nice.
like
Nice.
pretty accurate to the movies too. They're like scene by scene. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So-
They're very iconic
Oh,
and
yeah.
funny. I love them.
Yeah.
They're still
Yeah.
really good.
I know.
Tessa, when did you see Indiana Jones?
I want to say like maybe 11 or 12, and I
Okay.
absolutely loved it so much, just because of like the adventure and the treasure hunting, and it was also really gory. Like looking back at it, I was like, wow, that's kind of violent.
Yes.
But, yeah, it's definitely a classic. So for those of you listening to this episode, you may not know this already, but Lukas, Megan, and Osama and myself are all film majors or like work in the industry. And my question to you guys is, did the movie change after watching it? Like having the knowledge of like what goes on behind the scenes.
Like how we saw it.
Some moments got a little cheesier.
Yes.
The thing that influenced how I saw the movie the most, weirdly enough, came from an episode of The Big Bang Theory. And if you watch The Big Bang Theory, you know which episode I'm talking about. And I'm going to explain it because this has not ruined the movie, but makes you look at the movie in a very different way. Amy Farrah Fowler from The Big Bang Theory explains to Sheldon Cooper, who loves Indiana Jones, that Indy didn't have to be a part of that adventure, and it would still end the same way.
Completely.
Oh my god.
So let me explain this.
Indiana
Jones. Oh yeah. Indiana Jones goes on this adventure to stop Nazis, but basically, the Nazis do what they were going to do anyway. They were going to go to that island. They were going to have, the Ark of the Covenant there,
And they were going to die.
They were going to open it, and they were going to die anyway. And Indiana Jones didn't have to be a part of it.
Oh, that's so sad. But so true.
Right. But so true. It's still an extremely enjoyable movie, but once you know those facts, you're just like, ooh. know. Still really good. That's the only thing that's ever changed for me in the years of me seeing that movie, is that it's a little cheesy at some points, but and now I know that Indiana Jones didn't have to be a part of that adventure to know that the Nazis were going to lose anyway. But it's still really enjoyable. It does not take away anything from enjoying that movie.
How about you, Lucas?
It definitely changed for me watching it. Not really how I enjoyed the story, but I definitely thought so much more about how they achieved the tone of the movie, and the technical aspect of it, how it was shot, what would have gone into how that was shot, the lighting environment, and what they would have had to do to achieve that, especially since it was done on film, and what that does to the film, kind of giving it a warmer quality, and how that, I think that really helped with the desert scenes and the scenes where it got really heated, and just kind of how watching it and thinking, wow, there were so many stunts and so many intricate tactical, like basically watching it and thinking, wow, this movie was expensive, and this movie had a lot of prep and a lot of a lot had to go into making sure it happened, and making sure that it happened in the correct manner and in a really making sure that it was executed properly.
Right.
Like in the scene where they're trapped in the kind of in the underground layer with all the snakes, thinking, okay, they had to. I think I saw in a behind the scenes thing, they had like a glass, some sort of glass screen protecting the actors from the snakes at certain points. But even still, I mean, a lot of that was not CGI. They had to do a lot of back then. It's really impressive to think what they accomplished without CGI.
Right. Yeah.
So it definitely changed the way I thought about how it was done. It made me appreciate it a lot more.
Yeah. I agree with that. How about you, Osama?
I'm not an attentive person to begin with. I'll be watching a movie and doing about 6 other things at the same time, and frankly not doing any of them good. So even after I'll notice some odd things here and there, like maybe a boom shadow. I didn't see one, I'm just saying, But yeah, I'll notice the odd thing here and there. I'll think, wow, I wonder how the camera angles for that worked, or how much makeup he's wearing, or how many times that whip did not stick to the thing kind of thing. For the most part, I'm not really attentive. It's probably why I keep running over people in this.
What? You're
No,
running
no,
over
no, no,
people.
no. Okay.
I heard it.
Let me amend
It's
that
on tape.
statement.
For legal reasons, I'm deaf.
It is probably
It's not gonna be
why
that forever.
I keep running over other people's sentences in the Viewers Club videos.
I can't. Oh my
Okay.
gosh. What were your guys' favorite scenes? Or scene? Favorite
Maybe.
scene. One scene.
The
Scene,
scene
singular
where
scene.
Osama ran over the crowd of people in his car.
That guy looked familiar.
There's no proof of that.
What was the question again? Favorite scene?
It's interesting thinking back on all of the scenes because I feel like every moment and every time there's a distinct change in location and a change of scene, it's really noticeable and it's really the film is really colorful and it kind of paints this really big picture across the world. I think my favorite scene is probably it's a tie between when we first meet God, I'm really bad with names. It's when we first meet who's the lady that he's with throughout the movie?
Marion?
One
I
sec.
think it's Marion.
Mary.
Is it Mary? I thought it was Mary.
Mary.
I thought it was
Marion
Mary.
Raven
Oh, okay.
something.
Yes.
But Mary.
I knew it began with an M, but I couldn't remember
with
her
the
full
face.
name. Her. So, I loved her introduction, and I loved the kind of the tavern setting of when they first meet, and kind of how you're introduced to her character and their relationship. But I also really love everything that unfolds in that location. With that weird bowler hat glasses guy getting burned on his hand. Just everything about that scene was really, that location and everything that happened there was really enjoyable to watch.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's cool.
Okay, so it's really hard to pick a favorite scene because I think every scene was shot so well and it was done really, really well. I have favorite moments from it, which are usually the comedic ones because they're used so perfect timing wise, the comedic moments are timed so perfectly, from the girl in the classroom who says I love you written on her eyes
So creepy.
to the shooting the guy with the sword is iconic. The whole snake thing where he's like, why does it always have to be snakes? It's just, there's not just one scene that I love. Because I can't choose between them because they're all so, there wasn't obviously a point where the director was taking more care of a specific scene, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It was
focusing more attention.
The same amount of love and attention was given to all of them.
Absolutely.
So it's mainly those very well-timed comedic moments or funny little things happening that are probably my favorite part about this movie because they're used so sparingly. There's not like a throwaway joke every 10 minutes, which is what's in like most movies nowadays, It's just well-paced, very well done. So I don't think that there's a scene that I love most. I think visually and comedically a moment from a scene that I like is Indiana Jones fighting off all those people with swords trying to get Marion back. And then the guy does these epic tricks with his sword and he's so intimidating and he just looks so tired of it and he just pulls out his fucking gun and he's just like bam,
everybody
done.
Does everybody here know the story of that?
Most iconic.
Of like why that happened?
Didn't he have like food poisoning or something?
Yeah, he had food poisoning and he was not feeling it because they had a huge epic fight planned with him and the swords person. And he was talking to the director, and he's like, I really don't want to do this. And like, well, just think of something. And so he just shot him, and it worked.
Funny.
One of the most iconic scenes ever. It's one of my favorites.
Osama?
My favorite scene is when Indy goes into the bar to confront Balak. And then everybody in the bar, including the monkey, I think the monkey does too, right? Pulls a gun?
Does what?
Everybody pulls a gun? Okay. Well, everybody
everyone, the monkey, he still has the monkey. The monkey doesn't betray him during that, because the monkey has to die next.
Okay. But yeah, I just love when everybody just pulls the gun on him.
I think my favorite scene is the very first scene where there's not, if any, dialogue, and it runs for 10 minutes.
No, it's like, 10 minutes of, no dialogue?
Yeah.
And it tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
Like, what's gonna happen, and, like, different things about, well, pump my mic. Explaining, like, who Indiana is.
Who just headbutted their mic?
That he's, like...
It's Tessa.
a risk taker, and, he like...
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, trusts his gut and impulse and stuff.
Yeah. This movie definitely has, like, one of the best cold opens ever.
Yeah.
So if this film was to be remade, would you watch it?
No, don't even.
No.
Never.
That's under the assumption. This is all under the assumption that Harrison Ford doesn't, do what he's saying. How his whole speech about how Indiana Jones dies with him. Is this assuming that speech never happened?
Yes.
I'm fine. Here's the thing with me and with me in this movie is I can't see anyone else playing Indiana Jones. They have to have a new character. Period. Like Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones. That's it. But then 2, Hollywood just likes to remake movies over and over again, and the remakes are never better than the originals. They rely too much on nostalgia, and the entire like remake of this movie would just be making references to things, and like that whole moment, like if they would recreate that whole like shooting the sword guy moment, and it wouldn't be as genuine as it was in the original. It's just my general feeling for most remakes in general. People who are like, I want to redo. I'm okay with introducing new actors to play new characters, like with Lara Croft. They had that whole recently new Tomb Raider, and it was a new actress playing her. I was fine with that. But if they do this whole thing where they're like, we're gonna remake Raiders, specifically we're remaking Raiders of the Lost Ark, I'm like, I'm not interested in watching it. I just bye. It's my feelings towards it's the same feelings I have towards Disney remaking all their princesses into live action movies. It's not really necessary, and they're not nearly as fun as the animated ones are. So
I agree with Megan. I can't really see anyone else as Indiana Jones, and it's a series that it's had its run, and it's had its, I think, its stories have been told. And I really don't want I wouldn't want anybody but Steven Spielberg behind the helm, and he's done telling Indiana Jones stories, and I think that's good.
Yeah. Osama, how do you feel about it? If there was a remake?
I didn't say already?
Did you? I didn't...
Was that thing about me talking about Harrison Ford's speech in my head?
No, you did say that, yeah.
Okay.
But you were just saying his speech. You never said
Yeah.
whether or not you agreed with it or not.
Like,
See,
wait a minute.
you can see the lack of attentiveness in me. But yeah, I mean, without that entire speech, I'd still probably say no, because like they said, no one else could be Han Solo. Yeah. No one else could be Indiana Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, although the same does hold true for the first thing, despite the fact he really did not want to do it. But anyways, no one else could be Indiana Jones. And I think Indiana Jones, like, while it does not have such an expansive universe as, say, Star Wars, for example, I feel like there are characters who could have stories be told about them. Especially if you look at the prequel movies. Or, not the prequel, the prequel series. The prequel series. There's a lot of characters in there. And I just think at this point, Indiana Jones needs to retire.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm a big proponent.
It's a classic.
Stories shouldn't go on for profit.
Stories need an ending.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's boring,
Yeah, and it just feels like they're milking it, and that's never fun.
Everything needs finality.
Well, I'm glad we're all on the same page for that.
Don't fear the Reaper. Anywho.
If you were directing the movie, would you change anything? And if so, what would it be and why?
no, because it's already perfect. So if I directed Indiana Jones, I would hope that it would. I mean, I don't. No. I mean, Steven Spielberg is a genius at
I can't tell if you're
storytelling and directing, and I would hope that his spirit would possess me so that it could be filmed exactly the way it was.
Same.
I can't tell if you're indignant or at a loss, Lucas.
Big words.
Yes. I just I don't know. I mean, I don't like the thought of me doing anything after Steven Spielberg.
So if
it's like, how do you ever
can
you ever hope to top?
If this version never came out and you were handed the script and you made that film, would there be any differences?
Yeah, I mean it's so hard to tell just because every scene is different and every shot would be having a different purpose. But I would hope that I would maintain the same. I think Steven Spielberg does a great job of introducing characters, and I would like to do that's something that I try to do whenever I make any sort of projects or whenever I think about making any sort of projects, and the shots that come with it is how am I introducing a character, or how am I introducing their feelings, how am I portraying their relationship with who's in the scene, and I would hope to do what Spielberg does in tying together people's relationships and kind of who they are in the story. So I'd probably do that similarly. It'd be interesting to see because Spielberg's from an era where there's a lot of what I believe is called classic Hollywood shooting style. And I noticed it a lot the most recent time I watched it. A lot of the scenes kind of are shot almost like it's on a stage.
Yes.
Like, for example, the scene where he's talking with... Geez, I don't remember his name. I'm so bad with names. It's whoever the guy is, you know, there's no really close-ups on people's faces. Right. They're just kind of grouped together and you see all the blocking happen. There are a lot of scenes that are like that. So if I did it, it would probably look different, but that's just because of style and from the era of filmmaking that I'm more acquainted to.
I think what you're narrowing in on is that there's less edits during Indiana Jones is Steven Spielberg compared to like more modern ways of storytelling. Yeah. A lot of filmmaking done today has a lot of edits. They have a lot of cuts, you know, that sort of thing. But his don't. He has the necessary cuts. He doesn't have a whole lot of like close-ups or like unnecessary shots. Everything is shot with intention. And in all honesty, I think if anyone today tried to remake Indiana Jones, it would definitely not have that same overall feeling because of the way that filmmaking is done today. His shots, Steven Spielberg's shots from it were wider. They were intentional. No extreme close-ups. He didn't have like a medium shot and then a close-up. He either had a close-up or just a medium shot of a person, you know? Yeah. And if he did have those two, he used them. He didn't film it with the intention of like, I might use this later, I might not use this later. It was like
everything's intentional.
Very intentional, the way he shot it. So I don't think anyone could direct it the way that he did and have the same success as it did.
Because, and that speaks so much to his understanding of pacing, to not have to edit it and to be able to communicate with the actors. This is what this scene needs to look like. These are the shots that we're going to have. This is how I want it to unfold. I mean, it's an understanding of storytelling that's phenomenal. By the way, the character name is Brody. Marcus Brody. That was his name. Oh, that would have killed me all day.
Well, Osama is silent. Do you have anything to add?
If I had directed this movie originally, there would be no movie. I don't have the... It would look more like... It would look more like a home movie than anything else. I don't have the capacity to direct something, at least not at this point in my life.
Okay.
I don't have the capacity to direct something this good.
I mean, yeah.
Same.
Steven Spielberg really set the
How
bar.
could you ever compete
Right.
with Steven Spielberg? Yeah. Thanks,
Thanks a
Spielberg.
lot.
Now, Shark Boy
Nobody
and Lava
ever
Girl,
compare
that's a
me.
whole other story. I might be able to direct
I
something
could
in that
probably do
capacity.
that.
Yeah.
Nobody ever compare me to Spielberg because I will literally die.
Yeah. It's like, oh, no, 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 no.
No. Done. Just
Okay, fun question.
can't do it.
What is your favorite stunt or special effect?
The face
Can I?
melting.
Can I?
Yeah.
At the very end of the movie, the
Same.
face melting.
Yeah,
Same.
me too.
The overuse
That's
of the
it.
Wilhelm
Oh my
scream.
gosh.
Oh
Yeah.
God, I can't.
The sound effects
Wilhelm
were
scream, I
so
just can't
great.
do it. I just
They're so dramatic.
So good. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, my favorite special effect was definitely the face melting. And I was watching a behind the scenes video of how they did it right before we started recording. It was really interesting. Okay, so you know like that foam stuff that the dentist will use to like take a, what is it called? Yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
And it like
The
no
drill.
it's like oh
No, the
yeah,
foam.
to make a
The
mold.
thing that gets your like
Yeah.
the teeth shape.
So
Oh, the
yes,
awful
that
thing.
awful thing.
Yeah.
So they would
The
take
awful. Yeah.
the
that's what it
actor
is.
and put like little straws in his nose and put like a like hair.
Oh, so they made a
mask.
recreation of his face.
Yes, they took
His
a
head.
mold of his face, and then they did like different layers of like the like skin layer, and then it's like gelatin. They used gelatin.
Latex.
No, they used gelatin and like thin,
Oh, yeah.
like painted layers to like get that really melted effect, because when it's exposed to heat it like melts off. But then they also added like pieces of like yarn and stuff to make it look like blood veins or whatever, and to give it more texture. Yeah. And
It was so good.
like
Like it by today's
Yeah.
standards, it does not look real, but like from back then, oh my God. And even today, it still
Yeah,
looks
it really
really
does.
good.
It's still, I was starting to say it still looks.
So they
Oh.
had
I thought it was neat that they had like a different effect for each main bad guy.
Yeah.
And how
Mhm.
they didn't all melt. Like one of them exploded and the other one kind of shriveled up. I thought that was neat how they kind of achieved an overarching. They all died horrible deaths, and then thinking about how they had to achieve that practically.
Right. They had put
That's
the
so
face like mask, gelatin mask over I think it was like a skeleton made of stone, and they had two like flamethrower fans blowing on either side of it, and then they had a guy with a flamethrower like gun underneath, and as they were filming it, he would like melt either side to like make sure that it was like an even thing. It was like a whole process. I know.
An
It's
even
so
melt
good.
of the face.
Even Steve. Wait, what?
I think aside from that, one of my favorite reveals, and I just remember this, my favorite thing is when they revealed the Ark, you know?
Mm.
It's like they pulled it out of the box
Yeah.
and it's like glowing
Yeah.
gold and all of that
That was
jazz.
really cool.
I love that.
Hire me, please.
Right? I know.
May I follow in your
I will
footsteps?
work
I will
for
get your
free.
coffee.
Teach
Listen.
me your ways.
Next movie you direct,
Any
I'll get your
additional
coffee.
notes you guys
Yeah.
have?
Music is killer, iconic.
I literally
John
have
Williams knocks it out.
soundtrack
of
Gimli!
was epic
Once
in all
again.
caps.
It was the first. It was really the first of its kind in terms of, it had a James Bond-esque quality to it, but with a different tone of it being about archaeologists and about treasure hunters, and
Hey, James Bond is his father, so.
right, absolutely. I mean, there you go.
Sean
But-
Connery is literally Indiana Jones's father.
Right,
so-
I mean, you couldn't escape it. And I think that's what
No.
Spielberg said he wanted to do, is have something that took place on a worldwide scale, going around the world, similar to James Bond and some of those other kind of spy movies, but have a different twist to it and a different type of character to focus on. And I think he
It belongs
always
in a
did a phenomenal
museum.
job.
Yeah. Achieved. All right.
Absolutely.
Well, this was a really fun discussion. I really
Yeah.
I'm glad that we got to talk about it.
Watch it!
If you guys have any favorite stunts or special effects that we didn't mention, or have anything else to add, we'd love to hear it in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining. This has been Tess.
This has been Lucas.
Gimli! Osama!
I'm Megan.
Have a good, everybody.
Have a good.
Have a good.
Go watch Indiana Jones, please.
Do svidania.
Just as Indy says in his movies, this specific movie belongs in a museum.
It does.
Yes.
Do
it does.
svidania. That's 2 svidanias.
Thank you. Ow.
All right, have a good, everyone.